Alright, we've been informed that the stream is now back up, so we're being taken fully into action right away. And that moment for that France just taken so far. They're holding pretty strong, while Malaysia on that more so gimmicky controlled tech map, finding one break and one recovery rate here. My JD though, gonna drop one before FC, so that's gonna slow down the bleeding a bit, but Malaysia needs to work hard to get a break on this one.
Yeah, but look at the massive accuracy difference. You have PA still holding on to almost 99% accuracy. While some Malaysia, oh, you find another break on that FC on Chibi Morocco. And the accuracy is just completely pale in comparison to what you're seeing on France. Mostly just trying to break on that FC though, but France are just looking way too strong in both the combo and accuracy department. Malaysia are just falling farther and farther behind as the score just keeps increasing. Mabe, you're finding another break. It's just Chiyu holding onto any sort of FC. Zeph ends up breaking as well on that lower accuracy full combo, and Chiyu breaks on the recovery. And it's just France's opportunity to completely take this map away.
Yeah, everything just fell apart for Malaysia within a couple of seconds. All of the FCs are gone. Basically a full combo reset, a disaster right here. But that's exactly what France was betting on. It's already 500,000 score difference, and Oliver's bets on tag are holding a double FC very strong, especially from Oliver's at 98.7% accuracy. The stellar performance and the score gap is just skyrocketing to the left side of the screen right now.
Yep, it is already approaching that 800,000 mark. Will we even close in on the 1 million score gap? But it's just mainly based off of these two FCs on both TA and Vietsoin Tech, so looking very, very good for France here. And it's just such a dominant break opening point for them. It's such a strong first pick in general. So looking very good for them for the rest of the match. It allows them to build a little bit of momentum already early on in the match. And just, actually, can we take a moment to appreciate that accuracy on PA? 98.8. That's kind of insane. That's such insane accuracy on this.
Indeed. Very, very respectable scores. But you know what, Felicia? Considering this Nomad 4, some people might say that, you know, it's probably the easiest attacking map that you have in the pool. And France showing that big of an advantage on even that Nomad 4 just makes it kind of obvious that there is another tech map that you have left in the pool that is HD3, that is way harder. And I think we are definitely going to see this one in match really soon.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hidden 3 is, again, one of the highest skill cap maps. But then again, you can't really count Malaysia out on the Hidden. They are a very strong Hidden roster overall. So, whilst I do think it is a great pick for France being more tech-focused, Malaysia, I think, do also scale better on the Hidden in general. But again, considering the advantage we saw on this map, it's probably still a win for France, but Malaysia can probably still put up a fight on it, though.
Well, we'll see how this one goes for Team Malaysia and France. For now, it's about Malaysia, though. Looking for that answer to what France just did. They need a really strong pick to match that Nomad 4 dominance that France just showed us. And we did see DD3 3-3 bans, right? So I would probably bet on that DT2, I want to say. Since even though it is not as tapping heavy, it has a speed finger control aspect of it, and it's just a long map, so it's quite down to almost no breaks. But
What?
Malaysia, hold on now, that is
What?
that was not in my books. And Felicia, by your reaction, I can feel that it wasn't in yours either.
Yeah. I did not see that coming at all. Like, I did not see that in a million years. Wow.
Well, gambling on that kind of a stamina aim check. I want to describe this map that no one won.
Yeah, because it is fairly relentless throughout the map. Like, I think it's about 2.5 minutes of actual drain time. And if you look at the qualifier results, yeah, sure, France did seed significantly lower than Malaysia on the Nomad 1. But this is also just a vastly different Nomad 1. I feel France kind of falling victim to that 6-minute long map and just finding a lot of, like, unfortunate breaks all throughout the map in qualifiers. Except France is quite strong at this style of map. So kind of an interesting pick coming in from Malaysia, but if they have some really good scores on the sheet, then that's something that we don't know of, but definitely quite an unexpected pick.
Yeah, there are two options that I'm kind of considering right now. First, that well, Malaysia kind of misunderstood that no one wants statistic. The streamer is not anything. Don't worry, everyone. We're fine. We're fine. Yep. Okay. Yeah, you might have seen that we are lagging a bit, so streamer's gonna optimize the thingy real quick while we happen. So don't worry, we're not going anywhere. Yeah, two options. No mod one. Probably Malaysia saw that well France got it low season qualifiers, so no mod one decided, oh, we're gonna pick no mod one as well. And if that is so, Felicity already said that that's a completely different no mod one. They might be getting themselves in a trap. Or second is that there is a chance that Malaysia, which I'm more leaning towards to, is that they're just really confident that no mod one, and no mod one is something that we haven't seen them taken. That's why we have that reaction. But if they feel confident in this one, there might be something we do not know about Malaysia, and I'm all in for it.
I mean, in between these two teams, the only team that has actually played Nomad 1 so far in this tournament is France, and they breakpointed Thailand on it. So it's, I don't know. Again, it is a different Nomad 1, though I think the group stage Nomad 1 is more akin to what we see in this round. So I don't know, honestly. It is a bit high BPM, and it is very relentless. It's pretty much difficult all throughout. Of course, you have some slightly easier to combo sections, but it's still a pretty relentless map. But getting straight into the map, the first break actually comes in from Malaysia on a hot dog, so you do see France having a very minor advantage. However, it isn't something that will matter too much considering the length and the combo density of this map. However, that break from Chiyu, which is traded by Musty, does start to become a little more important as we get later and later into the map.
Yeah, indeed. This map was in COE 2024 No Mod 1 pool for a reason. It's relentless, those jumps, very sharp aim patterns that you're seeing throughout the entire map, and it claims Must and Chi for now, not anyone else. However, there is a break, right as I said it from Mabayu, putting Malaysia in quite a dicey spot right now. Chi does recover, but France just has 3 FCs and a recovery on their side, and that's going to be favoring them in the first half of this map.
Yeah, it's not by much though, it's only about 60,000 points. And that's because the accuracy on Malaysia are still there, whilst you have Lex pretty low on that accuracy, sitting at 97%. Like, holding on to the FC, which is more important, but really dragging down France's score compared to all of the other combos on France. We see MyJD finding a break alongside Musty. So just Lonk and Lex holding on to those FCs, and Malaysia has a very good avenue for a comeback here, as Shiyu is no longer in that recovery. I was about to mention their name. So that combo goes down, but it is still very even. 2 FCs to 2. Mabayu on a slightly higher recovery compared to Mize and Musty, so dead even so far, and the accuracy is also completely dead even. And Lex finds a break though, so it's just long holding onto the FC on France now. So Malaysia really should start reading the score lead back in now.
Indeed, still a very fragile situation though for Malaysia. It's not going to be as dominant as France showed us on No Mod 4 so far. Betson Tag is still holding on, refusing to back down against 2 FCs. He's still holding on, he's still swinging. However, Malaysia's score is just too strong. A double FC from a hot dog and Min Breeze are speaking volumes, and they are taking the initiative right now. They're entering the last section. A hot dog is finding a break though. Min Breeze is still here, and this is what matters. He is completely trading out Betson Tag, and he is winning in this 1v1 as the French FC, the last one, is gonna falter before Malaysia. Min Breeze is gonna end it off with an FC on that No Mod 1, unless a terrible catastrophe happens at the end, but seems like it is very much set in stone right now. Malaysia really got us worried in the first half of this map, but they managed to pull it off, Felicia.
Yep, France did hold the lead for a great majority of the map, but those breaks coming pretty late from both Lex and Long really did change the grand scheme of things. And also the accuracy being a bit lower did also kind of affect the amount of score lead that France was able to build up. So yeah, Zeph also closing out that FC being very, very important for the side of Malaysia. So taking it a point on the no mod 1, which honestly, I just didn't even expect Malaysia to pick. So that is a very good point for Malaysia, honestly, considering the amount of maps they still have left in the pool. Getting rid of one of the coin flipping maps and actually winning on it is massive. And straight away, France goes into the no mod 5.
My days. Wait, I mean, Nomad 1 was, pretty surprising. Nomad 5 from France also looks quite interesting in my opinion. I would expect Malaysia to actually pick that later down the line, maybe some of the mid game of this match. But
France beat Thailand on this though.
That is fair. That is a fair point as well. I just feel like both teams are able to compete with each other in this one. Malaysia is overall, well, if you saw groups, Malaysia took that three-way easy on 3-mod-2 in groups and overall picked a bunch of AG2 number 5 maps in there. So the question is, will they get gapped on that AR6 density overlap test that we're gonna see now in Nomad 5 or not? And I think that they just have such good players that it might not be enough to for France to actually skill cap Malaysia.
I mean, Malaysia did lose the Nomad 5 up against Singapore, and they did actually pick into it. But that score, I think that team score actually just about beats France out. And neither of their scores on the Nomad 5 in group stage was really too confidence inspiring. But we will see if France is just a bit better on the higher skill cap rating, this being AR6 compared to what was in group stage. The group stage map was, I guess, quite a bit easier. It was fairly easy to FC, hard to act, but fairly easy to FC. So it's kind of down to see if Malaysia can play the higher skill cap rating, or if France will just take the cake on the skill cap in general.
Yeah, indeed. So far, not quite the course of action I was expecting. Nomad 1, Nomad 5 right off the bat. But it seems like this match has some surprise for us stored. It actually a really important point right here. Whoever wins this one will have a pretty good leeway when it comes to other gimmick maps that we have left in the pool, considering none of them got banned from what I remember. So it's gonna be a big one. We're starting right here. The map is only 2 minutes, so we really need to be consistent here, and it's gonna show its true form right off the bat. Actually, you have a bunch of quite nasty patterns with kick sliders, with reverse sliders that you're gonna see right off the bat, and then more and more overlaps. So good luck to both of the teams, and let's see how this goes.
Yep, getting into this map now, the AR6, Nomad 5. And early doors, you do see France playing out a little bit ahead because of that accuracy on the hot dog, sitting down at only 89%, and overall, France just having slightly higher combos right now with that break from Agagag coming in, so already building up a pretty solid 100,000 score lead for the side of Malaysia.
Yeah. Does seem like it. We still are seeing an SS from Chiyu, and the moment I mentioned that is quite unfortunate. Still though, both teams holding quite strong. Chiyu finding the break though, right before that break. And that just means that now France, they see what they have done. Their strategy is indeed working out. They have a double FC and a reverse choke from MyJD. Only one half FC to trade it out from Malaysia. Not looking so prominent.
Yeah, but you do still have that very strong recovery on the hot dog, but the accuracy is very, very low on that recovery combo. So it's not really going to be too much of a major factor. And Mabayu finds a break on that FC for Malaysia. And it's a full reset for Malaysia. And France can just run straight away with this. Holding on to 2 FCs and that reverse choke from MyJD. It looks absolutely dominant here. And I think it's just more than guaranteed here for the side of France. You do see Lex finding a break. But just look at how confident Fier and MyJD look on this. Is Fier gonna close out the FC on this AR6, Nomad 5? It'll be quite a score. IRA seems like, unless an absolute tragedy happens. the FC gets closed out. What a play and what a dominant performance by France here.
That's another 1 million gap. Same story that occurred at Nomad 4. Nomad 4 I understand, but this one I definitely expected Malaysia to put up some stronger performances, but unfortunately wasn't the case here. France right now showing themselves in their best form, and well, they are definitely having a good time right now, considering the two canyons between themselves and Malaysia on the maps that they picked. So yeah, so far gimmicks, tech, potentially ult. It's gonna be favored to France. For Malaysia though, still not set in stone. Still not decided. They won Nomad 1, but that was quite a risky move. They might want to discover some other territories to explore and consolidate their second point here.
Honestly, at this point, considering they went for normal 1, I would not mind seeing Hard Rock 1.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily the best pick they have, but at this point, considering how big the gap was in the Nomad 5, and the fact that they did just win the Nomad 1, Hard Rock 1 wouldn't be too bad, I would say. They might also be able to opt in the hidden 1, but then you also just have the tappings left over. You have DT2, DT1, which you might be able to opt into. DT2 being in 260 BPM, has quite a few bursts, and I guess a little bit of awkward aim in it. Will Malaysia fare well on the AR 10.3 though? That is the question.
That is the question indeed. Well, for Malaysia, I mean, yeah, the two angles of the attack left is tapping mechanics and aim mechanics. So it's either one of those, and they're going for aim mechanics, doubling down after that Nomad 1. The map that I would say, the closest to the Nomad 1 nature would be that Fremont 1 exactly, because it's another quite an awkward aim map. And we saw, I believe, the same thing happening in the Poland versus Taiwan match when one of the teams won Nomad 1 and instantly went for Fremont 1. That's going to repeat itself here.
Yep, indeed. It seems to be kind of a repeat, as you did say, of what we saw in the Poland vs. Taiwan match. Just running it down all of the ones. And I think if Malaysia goes for this Fremont 1, I can honestly also see them go for the DT1 next and getting some more tapping out of the getting some tapping out of the way at least. But the question is, will Malaysia prevail on this consistency, or will France have an answer back to what we saw on the Nomad 1? I think overall we probably won't be seeing any overmods on this, considering just the fact the map is plainly easier on Nomad. If we see any overmod, I'd be very, very surprised.
Yeah, totally. And overall, I do not think it is best in either of those teams' interests to actually overmod, because once again, it's a very important match. Whoever loses this one will leave the tournament. So you need to get your more stable scores on the map. So I'm definitely gonna expect a no mod. Overall, about the lineup, I would say, the mod distribution, I am expecting Malaysia to lean more on those HD slots. I believe 2 hiddens from Malaysia, 2 hurdles from France, because overall that is something that both of those teams established in the group stage. For example, France would always go for more hard jock favored combination of mods, while Malaysia would pick for hidden sun. That is kind of a poetic battle, hidden versus hard rock. We will see how this one spirals out, but yeah, so far just waiting for the
I can see France going for the hard rocks. I just think they will stray away from that hard rock one, considering what we did see on Nomad 1. Sure, they're kind of different style of maps, but the kind of general scope of it's still there. And just looking like the general scope of the match, Malaysia opened up with a Nomad 1 that we just really didn't expect, and it went well for them. So I think this Fremont 1 makes kind of sense, just basing it off of what we have seen. And the hidden one, I don't know if they will necessarily want to opt into it, per se. Given the fact of just the style of the map, it might play in a little bit more to France's favor, being AR9 aim on hidden. And France, I think, just really does kind of excel at that skill set, especially on hidden. But then you still have things like the DT pool open for the side of Malaysia, which I think is honestly not a bad choice for them. But I think DT4 will not be picked by Malaysia, not at all. I think that's just a France pick all the way. But DT1, DT2, especially when I look at for Malaysia.
Yeah, DD4 is a very finicky map overall. It's something that I would more so expect the higher seeded teams to try and skill cap the lower seeded teams. But yeah, DTs are on the table. Even if Malaysia loses this one, they will have another chance to prove everyone wrong on the tapping mechanics map. But so far, it's the story about awkward aim, some slight direction on this free mode one. We're seeing consistency check all over again. We're seeing a double hidden from Malaysia, one HDHR, one no fail, just one no mod. France going for double hidden as well, actually matching that. So gonna be almost a mirror matchup. It's just gonna be the war of attrition in terms of the consistency. The tug of war. Mabayu is gonna be the first one to fall right here in the intersection.
I don't like seeing the hidden hard rock on here because if you're just, I guess, a hidden preference player and you also play hard rock well, just whack on hidden hard rock, you will get pretty much the same score, if not better. So hard rock opting for that, which makes a lot of sense. Which does also give Malaysia, I guess, a slight bonus on the score multiplier. But early on, you see Mabayo finding some consistent difficulties and not being able to build too much of a combo. However, that break is traded by Long on the hard rock. So far, it is pretty even early on. WC Chibi Morocco finding a break for the side of Malaysia. And a hot dog as well on the hidden hard rock. It's 1FC up against 3 on France. And France can just truly already start running away with a massive score gap here. A third of the way through the map and we're already sitting at almost 200,000 score lead for France.
Yeah, indeed, this free mode one is not as one-dimensional as the no mode one that we saw. It has more of those tricky, awkward aim patterns. Overall, more variety on this map, and it shows itself. Only one FC left inside of Malaysia, while France seems like they want to make Malaysia pay for their mistake. However, a double break from Masi and Oli might reverse things for now because Min Breeze is supported by Mabayu, and that is out comboing anything that France has put in on right now. Halfway through the map, Mice JD though is still a really big problem that they will need to worry about with 99.5% accuracy entering the second PI. This is where we will see if Malaysia will have a chance to bring it back, but Min Breeze, the monolith of Malaysia, is gonna find a miss.
Yep, that is a very unfortunate break there for the side of Min Breeze, who is also known as Zeph. A very well-known player who has been playing these tournaments for many years, but unfortunately not being able to hold Malaysia up, and it is all down to Mabai to hold on to that combo. We'll see Chibi also on a very solid recovery, but it is completely matched by Long. And for Malaysia to have any sort of avenue of comeback, we would need to see Mice finding a break almost immediately. But given the fact that he is on the no mod, it might be a bit tricky, but Long does bring him that hard rock, and that does give Malaysia a tiny bit of a combo advantage now, as the hot dog is starting to recover a little bit alongside Zeph. So it's not completely over yet, but Zeph, but Mize will definitely still need to find a break for Malaysia to come back on this.
Yeah, Mize is just being too heavy of an anchor for Malaysia to try and pull up. Looking forward to close this map with an FC, and that is gonna be the first break point in this match. No matter what happens, no matter the recovery from Abayu and Chibi Marco, it is all quiet on the right side of the screen now. 3-1, France taking that early momentum into the match. Malaysia could not get another win on a consistency aim check map.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that number one did pan out for Malaysia, but the free mod one not working out too well. You do see those very low miscounts all throughout the board, but the only FC is on Mice with 99.56 accuracy. The highest accuracy is actually on Musty, though. The 99.6 on the hidden, just finding a very unfortunate break in the middle of the map, which just completely caps your score. But that is the first breakpoint over to France, and they have an opportunity to consolidate that breakpoint now.
I am one map is looking very appetizing now for France, in my opinion. Yes, there it is. HD3.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is the one. After winning Nomad 4 as their first big win in Techie map, this HD3 is that Nomad 4, but probably like 2 times harder. You mentioned yourself yesterday that you consider this the hardest map in the pool, and you proved the point because even Poland, the seed 1 team, only got 1.7 million team score, I believe, on this one.
Yeah, this map is, again, I feel maybe a stage too early. I think this might be potentially a little bit better suited to a semifinals pool. But this also kind of gives an avenue for the high skill cap teams to really abuse the skill cap and get a point on the board. And for the side of France, I think just overall being a high skill cap team, which will just overall favor them in general. So Malaysia does like the hidden mod pool in general, but the fact that this map is as hard as it is, you might want to look at someone like Zeph to try and pull off like an absolute miraculous score. But barring that, you might have like a lot of 350Ks just all over the board, considering how hard this map is.
Indeed. Like, the worst part is, even if you manage to have seen this map in practice, I believe that was the occasion in the yesterday's match where, Tafik showed the score that, well, actually they managed to have seen this map was hidden and got 1 million score in practice. But in match, it's a completely different story. The map is so complex. It's not just the slider attack element, you have the flow, you have the overall finger control patterns there, and some sections are just diabolical, especially, the one in the middle. So, this one, challenge and a half. But in the meantime, we cannot leave this map without the shoutouts, because that is a second original song actually produced by Xavier XD. So, thank you so much for bringing this to life, and overall, it was a great project. You should definitely listen to this one on SoundCloud. There is a post on Twitter that we made. It links to pretty much everyone, does credit everyone as well. The art that you're seeing is from Maniac, the lovely illustrator here, lovely artist. So yeah, overall, probably a community favorite song and a map in this pool, despite being one of the hardest ones. So even if it's hard, it should at least be fun, Felicia.
Maniac, my favorite Brazilian artist, doing the illustration for this. So yeah, thank you very much to everyone who did make it happen. Basherman Whiskey for mapping, Zayrexy for composing it, and of course Maniac for making some amazing art for this. But yeah, it'll be very, very fun to see, and we of course do see Mint Breeze with Zeph coming in for this map, and I think Malaysia's probably going to be quite leaning on Zeph in general for a chance to get a good score on a good run on this map.
Yeah, I feel like that. Well, once the intro is done, we will see how the map actually starts out, and basically after that, there will be no turning back because it just keeps you dialed in all the time after that break. The true battle will begin. So far, everyone is holding those combos except Chi, but it doesn't really matter. There is 3 minutes of this map where you can gather a lot of combo on. Betson Tag is gonna find a break, and here we are. Musty with another one. Breaks are already happening left and right now.
Yeah, France finding, I guess, a couple more difficulties as the map actually does kick off, but as I say that, it is a 3-way break, but 2 breaks for Malaysia and only 1 break on long for the side of France. And there we go, there's Malaysia with another break. Maybe you're finding a break, just a hot dog holding onto the FC for Malaysia, whilst Fiat and MyJD are just absolutely having the time of their lives on this map. And this is what I was talking about, the skill cap really favoring France. A third of the way through the map, already sitting at 120,000 score lead. So a very early lead for France, but Malaysia definitely not out of it just yet.
Yep, indeed. I mean, the accuracy just speaks for itself already, but France just lost 3 of their massive combo scores. With MyJD being the biggest hit. Malaysia, however, they managed to hold through that thunderstorm of misses. A hot dog is still here with an FC. However, there comes a break. Mabayu is now the only one who can do something for Malaysia, but Musty is here. He's polishing the blade. He does not want to let go. The skill cap strategy, he cannot release that. The grip is quite strong on his side. 150k is not going anywhere. Mabayu losing the last hope here.
Mossy just absolutely going off on this map. Malaysia having a complete full reset. He did stop mentioning that combo, so a bit of a commentator curse from you. But Mossy does also find a break. F teams, every time I mention someone's combo, they will find a break. But this is such a tricky map, so it is to be expected. And just overall, this full reset does actually favor France, having the slightly superior accuracies and also in general just already having that lead. But Mize and Fie are starting to build up some pretty solid recoveries here for the side of France. So Mize was trying to break, so it's just all down to Fie now. But the score is already at 350,000, and I think, given how little is left of the map, I think it's already more than sealed here for the side of France. A 4th point on the board and a consolidated break point.
Yeah, this map is just so brutal. It doesn't forgive any mistakes. It's just about France being one level higher in terms of comfort on this Aegis 3, and it clearly paid them off. Malaysia not even being able to get 1 million team score, now finally approaching that threshold. But France is on a whole different level right now, 1.6 million and another 500,000 score advantage. And the craziest part is, Felicia, this is the smallest advantage that France had in this match winning the map against Malaysia. All the other maps were either 1 million score difference or around 700k.
It is the smallest score advantage for France. Actually, no. Primoz 1 was smaller at 300,000.
Never mind. Yeah. I
But,
mean, their own pick, you know.
proportionally, I don't think it is the... Actually, no, yeah, proportionally it's also the highest. But, still, it is a pretty significant lead nevertheless, because when you have 1.6 million, 1 million, a 550,000 point lead is a lot larger than it actually seems. So France completely dominating that hidden 3, as to be expected, on the skill cap. But now it's time to throw the ball back into Malaysia's court, and will they opt in for that tapping or not? Are they just not feeling comfortable in the 10.3 today?
Well, no, I feel like if you want to get any points, tripling down on those XX1 slots is not an option, unless it's DT1. DT1, DT2 are the ones I'm looking at. I'm not looking in particular on that Noma 2 because it's really low BPM tapping. It's flow aim check, and considering what we have seen from France, I do not think they will have any issues on flow aim. Well, DT1, DT2 are more tapping focused maps right here, not flow aim focused. So it's either of those two for me. If it doesn't work out, it's game over. And Malaysia knows it very well. Last resort DT1 pick right here.
Yep, it is the pick that we did expect to come in, maybe even earlier than it actually is coming in. But again, still sticking to all of those 1 slots. But this is a very game-defining pick. If Malaysia lose this, they are in a very terrible spot. Being 5-1 down and France having the next pick is not a spot you want to be in. France would have guaranteed a tiebreak, and then they would have 4 match points to try and close out the match, and then still they'd have tiebreaker. So regardless of what happens here, France are still in a very good position in this match.
Indeed. Well, for Malaysia, those tapping maps worked out against Norway, who were a higher seeded team. They received 20, France have received 14. We'll see if Malaysia will be able to accomplish that. 267 BPM, AR 10.3. Quite, it's mostly bursts. You have a bunch of those bursts, as well as the speed aim, quite awkwardish as well. Quite similar to the DT1 we saw last week, except the BPM is higher by around 20. So you could already expect that Malaysia should be overall quite comfortable on the map. The only question is the BPM enough to actually make France start struggling this one?
I mean, I don't know if it's the BPM or if it's just the style of map, because France, I mean, overall they haven't really had a great time on the DTs in this tournament so far. If we look at what happened up against Spain, they did end up dropping the DT1, and they did actually end up winning the DT2 though, but overall the 10.3 is not really working out for France in this tournament, so we'll see. Since Malaysia have just fed up a lot better in the tapping overall in this tournament, so I'd still lean a bit more towards the favor of Malaysia, despite everything we have seen so far in this match, where France has just been, I guess, just a more dominant team. We haven't really seen, on France's picks, France has just seen absolutely destroying, and also on the previous Malaysia pick, France were just always ahead. Not really, the pick wasn't really in any doubt at any time. But we'll see a completely different style of map to anything we've seen in this match so far. a way different pool. So let's see how France does fare up on this.
Yeah, indeed. The kind of the last hope, the last skill set that was untouched yet. If this one doesn't work out against France, that it's almost guaranteed that Malaysia is not gonna make it through. So, well, may the strongest tapping mechanics country win in this rivalry. The map is almost 3 minutes after double time, a very solid drain time right here. And as mentioned, speed aim, 270 BPM bursts, gonna be the main point of contention right here. So far, everyone showing some really good accuracies, especially on the side of Team Malaysia, not dropping lower than 99.
Yep, everyone not really finding any difficulties early on, but the map only ramps up in difficulty as we go on. And the fact that we didn't see any like early breaks is also a little surprising. Not really having issues selling into the map. As I say that, both Fie, Agagak, and Stumblehole finding breaks, and it is a triple break from France now. And it is 2 FCs up against only 1 on France now, so Malaysia will have a bit of an opportunity here to open up a nice score lead and just put some gap in between them and France.
Yep, indeed. It is just the dynamic though of Minbreeze and Mabayo, the 2 core players of Team Malaysia, to completely cancel out Adrian's score. 2 versus 1 there, winning this one, and a good recovery from Stumphole and Agagak right here. So they're holding on right now, halfway through the map. The second Ki is going to be no easier than the first one, so they better hold if they want to get this point. So far, everyone is going full throttle in this Ki. No turning back from now. Agagak is finding the break, but that's not who you want to see finding the break if you're France. Mabayo is the one that's gonna lose the precious full combo, exactly what France was looking for. Adrian, however, is just unfazed right now, and he knows he needs to keep holding. The supports are also here, 400 combo from all 3 other players, and right now things are looking quite grim for Malaysia.
Yeah, those recoveries on France are doing super well. They haven't found any difficulties barring those very early breaks. Mabayo keeps finding some repeated breaks, not building up any sort of recovery, but the FC on France goes down. So the only full combo left is now on the side of Malaysia, but the combo advantage is still very much for the side of France. And the score lead should slowly shift back to them. But look at the action of Malaysia, it's just slightly superior to what we're seeing on France. And the break on Red Munch, it now flips the combo lead back to Malaysia, but the break from Stumphole now flips it straight back to France, and the breaks just keep coming left, right, and center.
What is just happening at this point? It's only Minbreeze to hold through that entire chaos. The only one who's walking alive from that battlefield. But no, even Minbreeze, the map claims him at the outro. 70k score difference. Adrian came here with a clutch, but the time was not playing on his side. Malaysia should be getting this point. 40k score difference. The last couple of patterns are here. 30k, Adrian's finding a break. The last slow slider is gonna settle it. Malaysia are gonna get, by the skin of their teeth, a second point in this match, Felicia.
Yep, 4-2. And what a crucial point for Malaysia. If they went 5-1 down, it would be almost over. It would be such a difficult position to come back from. But still having that DT1 pick open really allowed them to capitalize on the point they really much needed. And could this be a start of something for Malaysia? Could they start turning the match around from here onwards? France does still have some quite strong picks left, and I think primarily we might even see the... It's honestly hard to call, but I would say the DT4 pick coming from France is probably... They have the DT4 and we have the entire harder pool.
Oh. Yeah, now that you mentioned the harder pool, just knowing how strong France is when it comes to precision, right? I mean, you have Miles JD, who's just a beast. We saw a really strong showing in the qualifiers pool on HR2, getting seed 7 overall. And here, this HR2 should be quite conventional for France. Not so RNG as the previous HR2. In fact, some people did say that this HR2 might feel even a bit easier than the previous one. So it should definitely be a non-issue for France to play this one. And didn't see Malaysia. I mean, we did see Malaysia compete with Norway on the precision mass, but when it comes to France, I feel like that's a whole different beast that they will try and get a breakpoint on. So I feel like for France, it's HR2 or DT4. Those two should work well. Or actually, there's also AG2 that I'm looking at. That is not so similar to Nomad 5, but still the structural reading Felicia. I feel like France has a bunch of cards right now that they can play. And they are still going for a different one they didn't even mention.
Good one too. I guess, again, if you are strong on the hard rock, it does make sense, because, again, like, we could see easies for Malaysia. We could very well see easies.
Yeah.
Because I think this map isn't too bad on easy, at least from when I did play it, when I was playtesting it, it didn't feel too bad on easy. So, especially considering what we saw from Malaysia in the group stage, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an easy or two. But France being as strong as they are on the hard rock, I think we just might see 2 hard rocks coming in from France. And a hidden and a normal. I don't know if we'll see any easy for France. So, I think this is a pretty solid pick, but I just really think there were better picks left in the pool.
Yeah, I think, especially considering the nature of this Fuma too, it's, first thing first, it's a custom by Nick, so thank you so much, the former 4WC host, current 3WC host. Quite pleased to have this one. Overall, Nick's style of mapping, especially in those anti-modes. If you played Switcher, you probably already know. They do feel like old maps. It's CS5 AR8, and well, they're quite, I don't want to say conventional, but more traditional way of mapping. You have some flow bursts here, you do have some control, a bit of rhythm changes, but that is about it. It definitely plays like your more standard anti-mode map. And I feel like that will help Malaysia quite a bit.
I mean, it could, but it could just also be a pick that France can absolutely take away. This on Hard Rock can be a very coin flippy map. You can have a run where you drop 300k and a run where you drop 600k. It's super. It's one of those maps overall. At least from how I felt playing it, it is definitely a very coin flippy map on Hard Rock. But on Easy in itself, I think I really think we will see Easy coming in from Malaysia, and we might even see it. I don't know if we'll see one from France. I'm more leaning towards, we'll definitely see Lonk coming on the Hard Rock, I'd say. Maybe Musty as well on the Hard Rock, and we might see Fie on the Hidden. Maybe Adrian on the normal.
Maybe. I'm actually quite surprised my JD is not joining for Hard Rock on this Primo too. Quite an interesting thing to see here. But yeah, for France, I feel like, compared to Fremont 1, where they went double HD this time, this time they are indeed going double HR 1 HD. No overmod from Musty being that anchor for getting that stable score. Gonna be trying to try out Mint Breeze, the person who saved Malaysia so many times already. Hot Dog, where's my bio? Double HD as expected. Chiu with Hard Rock. No easy, no one is risking it.
Yeah, I guess it does make sense, but this map is quite hard on Hidden. It's quite hard on Hard Rock. It's very hard on any of the mods. So you might want to look at the normal players for the highest scores in the lobby. And if there is one player on Malaysia, one on the normal to guarantee a high score, it is definitely Mint Breeze. But getting actually into the map, we already see France with a pretty significant lead, already over 100,000 points in the lead. However, as those combos do fall for the side of France, it's only long holding on to the FC, whereas on Malaysia you have that recovery on Mabayu and the FC on Mint Breeze, so that will slowly be coming straight back to the side of Malaysia.
Yep, indeed. So far, Mint Breeze is the one who matters. He's winning that duel against Musty, which is already good now, but he needs to push a bit further anyway, because it's only halfway through the map. France, they still have really good recoveries. 200 combo from Oli and Adrian. That's on attack. His hero is 500. Malaysia is losing Mabayu, which only adds fuel to the fire at the moment. France is gonna try to take that race, making the pace here, setting it, being the pacemakers. And they do have what it takes at the moment. Mint Breeze is trying whatever he can, but that control, that rhythm section is gonna catch him and Chi off guard. which allows France to completely skyrocket that lead.
Triple break coming in from France, so you see Long breaking on that Hard Rock FC, but Musty is there to back France straight back up. 550 combo, and all of the combos of Malaysia go down, and that really does spell disaster here, and France is looking very poised to take their 5th point of the match and go on to match point. And yeah, as you can see at the tail end of this map, how hard it gets. Every single player finding a break, and just not really any sort of major combo still standing as we get into the final few seconds of the map. And I believe that is Long top scoring on the Hard Rock.
Oh my
A
god.
very nice Hard Rock score.
Indeed, 600k here. Almost making up half of the score that Malaysia put up as an entire team of 4. Very, very scary. 5-2, another more gimmicky map going in favor of Team France right here after that 9-1-5. And yeah, considering the complexity of this Prima 2 and Malaysia having to play under such pressure, being 4-2, was I'm pretty sure one of the factors why we saw some of those unfortunate breaks halfway through the map. For France though, it's helping a lot. It's 5-2. Now it's do or die for Malaysia. At least they have the next pick.
Yeah, and if you are Malaysia, I think you just go for DT2 here. DT1 went well for you just about, so I think it's time you just opt into the other tapping map in the pool. That double time 2. And as you did mention, I don't really think number 2 is an avenue at all for Malaysia, given how strong France have been on the flow aim all throughout the match. So, yeah. We will see though. But the most likely pick is just a double time 2 here.
Yeah. Well, unless we're gonna see Malaysia just pick something for fun, maybe another banger song. The XX1 slots are still on the table, but no. Going for a very logical pick, as you predicted, and what was quite an obvious decision here, DT2. The longer, one of the longer maps in the pool, the main difficulty of this one in comparison to DT1 is that this one you can gather way more combo than a DT1. It's more dense. There is one quite challenging finger control section around 2/3 into the map, and even if you hit it, the map doesn't slow it down at any point. It's just relentless. It's very, very challenging. We only saw, I believe, one FC from one of the Polish players, considering their Seed 1 team.
I mean, Poland, I don't think is necessarily one of the stronger tapping rosters left in the tournament. And I think they did find quite a few difficulties on these 2 overall. You did see, no one really found an FC, but again, 3.2 man team score, I guess is pretty strong. But I don't really think either of these teams will be able to put up such a comparable score. I think maybe we might see one FC coming in, but I think overall, we'll see a probably hard cap of a team score of about 2.5, 2.6 million in this lobby. Or at least on this DT2, considering the difficulty of it.
Yeah, that would make sense. Considering we're not seeing the top teams play in this match. It's C14 versus C25, so they're in a sweet spot in the middle of seeding seeded qualifier of the qualified teams here. Malaysia, I mean, obviously DT2 they will try to mostly just outlast the opponents on that DT2, hoping that France will probably get maybe that 4th player syndrome, maybe even a bit more, but that is the last hope for them. If they get this point, even if they get this point, Felicia, it's gonna be hella hard to determine the next 2.
I mean, yeah, because France does still have another pick left to go. And at that point, I mean, you can look at the number 2, you can look at the Hard Rock 3, Hard Rock 2, DT4. There are so many picks left for France that they can have a very good shot at winning. So, not looking too great for the side of Malaysia, even if they do take this point, but who knows? We have seen some very incredible comebacks this tournament so far, so they might be down, but they can never be counted out.
Yeah, totally. In the meantime, I'm gonna make a quick stream link for the second channel match that's happening right now, Spain versus Singapore. But yeah, right now DT2 players are being loaded in. Hold on, okay, Bancho is kind of trolling us at the moment, but doesn't really matter. As mentioned, the map is really dense. CS 4.3 is also gonna play a lot of impact into this match, especially at the ending sections of the map, because if you're nervous, CS 4.3 gonna be quite easier to control than your standard for CS4. So we're gonna see how this turns out, if Malaysia has that backbone on that DT2. If not, it's game over. It's do or die for them, make or break. And the map is gonna start itself now.
I think the CS 4.3 also just adds to the uncomfortability of this map. Like, it's not that much smaller than CS4, but it definitely does start to have an impact. And here we see on France already trying a bit of a later break, which does allow Malaysia to extend their score very, very slightly. However, they are starting to falter a little bit behind on the accuracies, especially on Mabayu sitting at 95% accuracy. However, that is matched by Adrian sitting at 93% ac. But getting into a little bit more of the more tapping intense sections, no one really finding any further breaks on either of these teams. Malaysia still holding to 4 FCs, and Fier on the side of France does find a break, but it is trade by Agagak. So 3 FCs up against 2 here for the side of Malaysia. Well, 3 FCs up against only 1 actually, and we have that very strong recovery on Adrian, but pretty much an FC on Adrian. Just a very early break, about 150 combo win. And the score will just keep accelerating further and further into the favor of Malaysia, but Agagak finding another break on that recovery. But MyJD breaks on the final FC for France, and Malaysia can just truly run away with this now.
Malaysia sees the opening, and they are gonna start to just trying to run away right now. It is working out as well. 1-8 combo from 3 of their players. Only Agagak was that recovery, but still, the 98% for Agagak is already making a lot of effort right here. France is outmatched in both accuracy and combo departments. Adrian is here with 1k combo, but Traz is finding a break. The tapping specialist of Team France, and Adrian is gonna follow the same fate right here. Malaysia, Agagak might find another break, but it's a collapse on the side of Team France. 1 wave was all it took. All the combos are gone. While you look at Malaysia, this is the dominance we were expecting from them since the beginning on those tapping maps. Minbreeze, Mabayu, and Stumphole are just in a whole different level. Last quarter of the map is that Stumphole goes down, but it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, Mabayu does also find a break, but at this point, 900,000 score in the lead. And Minbreeze just absolutely going off, still holding to that 97% accuracy FC. And just the fact that Malaysia held on to that triple FC for as long as they did just truly cemented their place here in such a dominant victory on this DT2. And I'm surprised you didn't see this pick earlier. I just really thought this was such a strong pick for Malaysia, but I guess I'm just being proven correct here. Closing out maybe on the 2.9 million team score. I said maybe the team score will be capped 2.5, 2.6 million, but no! Malaysia completely proved me wrong and almost getting 3 million. Oh. What a strong team score by Malaysia here. And trying to build some momentum, but France, they just have so much of the pool left. I mean, Breeze, was that missed right at the end, or was it just an Apraxia method?
I think it's the beginning. Yeah, that was the Apraxia method.
The Apraxia method coming in from Zeph here. But what a great score, 97.7, 1.1 million, and that's just half of the score in France, just one Zeph already.
Yeah. And Malaysia, and especially Minbreeze, they did not want to go out without a fight. Felicia, it's just that there is one huge problem. It's now France time to pick.
Hard Rock 3. Actually, no, they're not picking Hard Rock 3. Hard Rock 3 is way too RNG.
Hard Rock 3 would be crazy.
It would be funny. It would be really funny if we do see it, but I don't think we'll. It will probably be Hard Rock 2 or DT4. Yeah. I don't think we'll see anything else being picked from France. So I think every time I said that, I've been proven wrong. So, I mean...
Yeah, all of my predictions are just wrong in this match, so
yeah.
I can't. I can't with this anymore.
I think...
Okay. What?
What?
No.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
We cannot be doing that, guys.
It makes sense.
Why are we doing that?
It makes sense, but it's funny because I don't know. It's 1.5 minutes long. It feels like one of the more RNG focused maps in the pool.
I mean, we both saw what happened in Taiwan versus Poland match yesterday, right?
Yes.
How RNG that one was. It's 1 minute and 25 seconds of drain. It is the shortest map in the pool. It is Snap Alt, which we actually, I believe, haven't seen Snap Alt yet in this match, but it falls into that control category that France has showed to be superior at in this match. So yes, on paper it should favor them, but in reality it's such a short map. If Malaysia just, grips their freaking pants in the right way, they will be able to pull off a good performance in this one. And that drain also doesn't really help the situation because, well, if French players just do not feel too strong, do not feel too confident on this one, it's really easy to miss. It's really easy to miss, and that is the exact pick that would be a dream come true for Malaysia, I feel like, out of all the remaining ones.
I mean, France is very good at the control, very good at the ult.
Yeah.
And they are just significantly stronger than Malaysia on that. But it's also kind of like, it's just such an it's so hard to kind of categorize this pick. It's unexpected, but a good pick. But at the same time, it could just very easily go to Malaysia's favor, given the nature of the map and how short it is. I don't know. We'll see, though. I'm super down to see this, actually. It's an interesting pick.
Yeah, like, we've been waiting, we've been talking about this, and the entire map drain has already passed. I will not be surprised if by the end of us talking about this map, we will see the map finish twice. Like the song, because you can see the bar slowly being filled out at bottom there, Nature's Free, right? And it's already almost halfway through.
Yeah, we're already a third of the way through.
I know, right?
But yeah, it seems like we do have all the rosters finalized of what could be Malaysia's final map in this 4WC iteration. Will they have an answer for France, or will France just take it all the way and take it home?
Yeah, good question here. I mean, the map does test Snap Alt really well. It has quite long Snap Alt patterns. They're quite constant as well, consisting of around 20 notes, the hardest ones. So that will definitely show who has the overall comfort on this map. Paper should be France. But right now, with how Minbreeze is playing and a couple of other Malaysian players, it will be a fun spectacle to watch right here. And here we are starting. All the misses matter, all the accuracy drops matter because the map is just so short. Chibi Marco gonna be the first one to fall.
We did see Long actually finding breaks on literally the first ult pattern, and we do see him finding more and more repeated breaks now. But Malaysia is falling a little bit behind on the accuracy overall, as we do still have MySGD holding to that 99. But Malaysia does now take a very minor score lead. But it's all down to who holds the combo for the longest. And so far, no one's finding any breaks. So Musty finds a break on that Hard Rock, and it's about a third of the way through the map that will really start capping out his score. And Malaysia have a chance to walk away a little bit with this, not necessarily run because of how short the map is. And Chibi finds a break once again. It wasn't an FC though, it was on that recovery combo. Musty finding a break as well on that recovery. Look at the score lead, it's only 10,000 points of difference. And it's so close. MySGD finds a break on that FC though. A hot dog trades it though. Mabaya was wrong.
This map is so brutal. Malaysia losing one of their bigger combos again. Minbreeze is getting slidered on the biggest one in the map, and that is the full combo gun. Lexal is fighting a break, but it doesn't matter as long as here with a full combo, 98% accuracy. Just within a split second, France managed to pull it off at the very end. If not the slider that Minbreeze got cut off, and if some other support scores were still holding on, that would have been a whole different story. But France is gonna end this match in a very funny way, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, we did see a couple of chain misses at the end coming from both the Hot Dog and Chibi, which did really weigh the score further into France's favor. But once again, I like the pick. It's a pretty funny map to end it out on, and France with a pretty, at the end of the day, a pretty dominant win overall. It is a 6-3 scoreline, but when France had a pick, they absolutely made full use of it and just completely dominated Malaysia on it. But that is unfortunately it for Malaysia being eliminated in the quarterfinal stage of this 4WC iteration, whilst France does advance on to the second round of the losers bracket quarterfinals, where I think their opponent is yet to be determined, if I'm not mistaken. It's still
Yep. Either
undecided.
Chile or Turkey. Either Chile or Turkey. That's gonna be covered today at 16 UTC. Actually, if Turkey wins, then we're gonna see France again today at 18. If not, then it's gonna be a Sunday match that we're gonna let you know of it later. But yeah, Felicia, I believe that is about it from us right now. Good job to France. Nice try to Malaysia. Valiant effort being put here. But yeah, that's gonna end up the story of this match. In the meantime, shout out to all of our sponsors, being said Slider Palace, Kagami Studio, as well as Ubima Entertainment. Ubima Entertainment making great songs, originals for the tournament. So you should definitely check them out. They do have a Discord server, so if you're an aspiring artist, you can go check it out. They welcome everyone there. That is about it. Kagami Studio and Slider Palace are also holding a giveaway. Down there, if you scroll just a bit, you will see that image. If you press on the giveaway image, it will take you to the Twitter post. And the giveaway ends in 3 days. On the 25th of August, we will announce the results, and the winners will get 3 Meow pads. Those are the keypads made by Kagami Studios, also known as This Live, as well as 6 Slider Palace stickers. So if you want to get those great products, make sure to check it out. But for now, Felicia, I believe everything that we need to say was already said. Thank you everybody for watching, and we will tune in a bit later.
Yep, see you guys a little bit later for some more matches. Have a good one, everyone. Goodbye.
Yeah. Meantime, I will raid the second channel.